Hello, Internet. Mike Bertolini playing Vampire the Masquerade Coteries of New York. It has been months since I played this game. It's been sitting on my desktop, and you know, I just haven't clicked on it to play. So, first off, please forgive me if the voices at this point do not match the voices of previous games because I really just don't remember all of them. All right. Uh, Secondly, if you like this sort of videos, hit that like button, subscribe, ring the bell icon to be notified of more updates from me. And lastly, if you would be so kind and you feel inclined to do so, click that link in the description and go shopping on Drive-Thru RPG. Doesn't cost you anything else, but I get a small, little kickback for anything you buy. A small one, percentage. But, every little penny helps. All right. And if you like Vampire the Masquerade, you can get some of the game books from there too. All right, so without further ado, let's jump on in. Okay, so who are we gonna go see? She's willing to help me out if I do a task for her. He's look at the it's look at how the time is. It's getting pretty close to dawn here. As you open the blinds, you're able to spot a small grayish bird flying off into the night. Looking down, you notice a small piece of paper on the windowsill. Prospect. ASAP. Tam. Time's a charm, you think to yourself, as you once again cross the gate of Prospect Park and head for Tamika's Haven. To your surprise, you find her out in the open, sitting on the lawn, surrounded by a host of woodland creatures. Birds and squirrels, mostly. The critters each patiently await their turn, and she flicks seeds at them. It's almost whimsical in a twisted sort of way. Hey Tam, surprised to see you out in the open. Yeah, maybe I'm just sick of hiding. She scatters the remaining seeds into the grass and hops to her feet. I've been doing some digging. The Inquisition has a safe house up in Manhattan. That's where they're keeping him. The Scod one, I mean. I wanted to pay them a visit, kill that thing and as many of those side bastards as I can along the way. Is it really worth it? I know you want revenge for your sister, but at the very least, it's a clear violation of the Masquerade. Yeah, and that's the least of our worries. Throw in a legion of armed goons standing in our way and an all-powerful vampire as the cherry on top. There's more to it than just revenge. I think I can help find out who I really am. I know it sounds corny, but I can't even explain it better than that. Trust me, I'm not taking this lightly. It's just something I have to do, with or without you. What the hell? Who wants to live forever, right? I'm in. Oh, please excuse me if I'm unable to read a sentence, because that seems to be a thing right now. Me too. He emerges from the shadows a mere few feet away from you. The son of a gun finally managed to sneak up on you. Tamika eyeballs him as he gets closer. You've seen that look before. She's clearly asserting her position. This time it comes off as a formality rather than an actual challenge. How long have you been there, Raoul? long enough. I'm still not buying the whole scarred one bullcrap. Taking a bite out of the Inquisition's collective ass is just too good to pass up. I want in. Call it the Scarred One, Santa, or the Tooth Fairy. Just know that it's very real and very dangerous. Fine. Consider me fairly warned. Now, can we move this along? I mentioned to kill some SI fucks. Tamika, you got an opinion? Guess I know who the Alpha is around here. You should come with us. He's got the right to be there, to see the scarred one with his own eyes. Plus, my brother can be a pain in the ass. He's one hell of a fighter. There you go. Tam's seal of approval. It's settled then. Let's go. Fucking finally. With that, you leave the relative safety of Prospect Park, filling yourself for things to come. As you get closer to your destination, you get the sneaking suspicion that Tamika's been pulling your leg. Following her lead, you take a turn from Broadway into Fort Tryon Park. It doesn't seem to make sense, you think to yourself. There's only one spot between here and the Hudson River. But it can't be, can it? Sure enough, as the stone facade of the cloisters comes into view, Tamika motions at you to keep out of sight. How the hell is this well-known tourist trap a hideout for the Second Inquisition? Wait, is this place a tourist attraction? Only during the day. At night, it serves as a staging ground for the Inquisition. If my sources are to be trusted, usually are, they brought him here for what they call processing. Doubt they'll keep him here for long, though. If we want to get to him, it's now or never. As if on cue, a group of armed guards walk out of the museum, pushing a gurney with a large steel container on top of it. As they wheel it out in the open, a truck approaches. The operatives start preparing to load the crate into the vehicle. You scan the area, trying to take a head count. Tamika beats you to it. I counted at least 7, probably more inside. You should do this quietly and take them out one by one. Raoul frowns. I say we go in guns blazing, figuratively speaking. If there are more inside, let them come. The more, the merrier. Tamika's right. You should get in quietly, take them out one by one. Tamika nods in silence. Fine. Let's do this already before you two bore me to final death. You split up, aiming to cover as much ground as possible. Sticking to the shadows, you advance, keeping track of one another's progress. You hardly even notice as Tamika takes out the first guard, and I peep out of him. Trying to keep up, Raoul kills the one to your left. He's sloppy, takes a sweet-ass time before bleeding the guy out. Taking his sweet-ass time bleeding the guy out. With his dying breath, the man lets out a yelp, drawing the attention of one of his comrades. The guard fast approaching you, ponder your options. The guard walks by you, leap out of the shadows, and put into a crushing headlock. Opting for a non-lethal approach, you quickly choke the guy out. Just as you're about to move on, Raoul jumps in and plunges his claws into the man's chest. He then turns toward you and mutters a silent reprimand. No witnesses. 3 down, 4 to go. You keep a steady pace, moving across the courtyard, picking off the guards one by one. Tamika does her part, 3 to go. Raoul gets messy again. At least this time, he's quiet. Only 2 of them left. You pick one for yourself and gesture at one of your fellow pharaohs to take care of the other. Tamika's quieter, but Raoul's closer. Which one will you choose? Wave your hand, pointing at her final target. She nods on making her way towards him. Suddenly, by virtue of sheer luck, he turns around just as she's about to pounce. His scream is quickly muffled, but still loud enough for the last guard to hear. As all 3 of you approach him, the reality of your situation hits him like a ton of bricks. Paralyzed with fear, he keeps shifting his aim from you to Tamika to Raoul. He is severely fucked and he knows it. Since you're standing closest to him, you might as well do the honors. This game's dirty. Look over to the quivering mess that mere minutes ago thought himself the toughest of the tough. Before he can react, you slap the gun out of his hands, lean in, and smile. Hi. Half a second later, your fingers are already halfway to his windpipe. The blood tastes sour with a hint of cowardice and regret. Could have gone out with a bang, chose to go out with a gurgle. Oh well. The SI apparatus is taken care of. You turn your attention to the container sitting in the middle of the courtyard. Using your combined strength, you make quick work of the steel door. As you walk in, the moonlight fades behind you. The moonlight from behind you illuminates a twisted figure huddled on the floor. Comfortably at the thin line before you, beaten and tortured within an inch of its own life, is the same creature you fought back at the cemetery. What the fuck is that thing? It's what your sister warned you about, what you refuse to believe. His lips move silently as searching for the right words. He looks to you, then turns to his sister, as if waiting for a sign. For a moment, Tamika just stands there. She looks down at the scarred one, the once fearful boogeyman, the very mention could strike terror in the hearts of her tribe, now reduced to a whimpering pile of flesh. Finally, she turns to you with a look of childish innocence mixed with confusion. Then, she looks back at the scarred one. You can tell she's lost. Tam, what the hell are you waiting for? Let's kill this thing and get out of here. He's right, Tam. That's what you came here to do. That's what you wanted, remember? When she turns to you again, there are tears in her eyes. For some reason, it's the most unnerving thing you could think of. I don't have to. Maybe I need to believe I don't have to. What then? You've met the mercy of the Inquisition? Talk about cruelty. Suddenly the very air around you seems to thicken. You look over to Tamika. She's not quivering anymore. She walks up to the scarred one. The pitiful creature presses itself in the corner in a desperate and futile attempt to crawl away. Without a word, she grabs the creature by the ears, sinking her claws into the side of its head. She looks dead in the eye. Her voice is surprisingly warm, almost soothing. You can rest now, brother. In a fluid motion, she twists his neck off his shoulders. The snapping sound is both sickening and satisfying. The empty husk of the once fearful beast falls to the floor like a slab of meat. Jesus, Tam. That was... What the hell was that? Hopefully, some closure. Standing outside the steel container, the three of you take a moment to gather your thoughts. You look at one another, at the blood staining your hands, clothes, and faces. In the pale moonlight, it appears black and shiny, like a fresh ink stain on a fresh sheet of paper. Without another word, you head back toward the city lights. The journey back takes longer than it did in the other direction. Bits and pieces of the Second Inquisition still tucked to your clothes, you set to play safe by sticking to the back alleys and cutting through the dark corners of the city. You can stay several steps ahead. Both you and Raoul are quite content to follow her lead. You can tell that last few nights have taken a toll on her, not necessarily in a bad way. She seems stronger somehow, confident, more in tune with herself. Soon, the awkward silence proves unbearable enough that you're willing to risk making small talk with Raoul. You think she's gonna be alright? Yeah, I think so. She'd have to figure some stuff out. Our lineage. We have a special relationship with the beast. We either let it control us, or we come attuned to it. It's a constant struggle, marked with difficult choices. I think it was day one. Finally, when you just heard, the rest of the trip barely registers. You're surprised you finally find yourself back at Prospect. Oh man, I can't read this sentence. Tamika keeps walking. She strides through the park gate like a queen of old, returning after a victorious conquest. You want to call out to her, but Earl stops you with a gesture. Not yet. Give her some time to process all this shit. She'll let you know what she's meant to. And hey, you did alright. I mean, don't get me wrong, you're still an asshole. Yeah, thanks. Smiles at you. Wonders never cease. See you around. With that, he follows in his sister's footsteps. A weird smile creeps into your face as you meld into the New York night. Okay, so halfway through the night. You make your way through the now familiar rusty maze of the grain terminal and up the stairs to D'Angelo's office. This time, however, you find the room firmly locked. There's no pin to the door. You rip it off and scan the lettering. There's been another one. And see now, come to bed. Come to Bed-Stuy. I can't even remember. Come to Bed-Stuy. Corner of Pulaski and Garvey. ASAP. Looks like D'Angelo could use your help. Better get going. As you approach the address, D'Angelo gave you a squad car passes signs blaring. Following it, you make a turn from the Cobb Ave onto Pulaski Street. Oh man, what's up with these words? Sure enough, the street is awash with red light and the 4 or so police cars parked on the nearest corner next to an ambulance, confirming that you're in the right place. You move closer to what happens to be New York's finest convention, looking around in the hope of spotting a familiar, if not altogether pleasant, face. No such luck. True to his Nosferatu lineage, D'Angelo is nowhere to be seen. You stop on the sidewalk across the street, trying not to draw attention to yourself. All of a sudden, one of the cops standing by the entrance to the buildings looks straight at you. There's a double take, and you instinctively look away. Bad move, you think to yourself. You notice him making his way toward you. Not allowing panic to set in, you stand your ground, doing your best ordinary citizen impression. The cop waddles across the street towards you, his sense of authority putting that extra spring in his step. You try to remain calm, even as he puts his hand on his holster. Shit, you can't help but mouth the word. This is about to get messy. Suddenly he stops, as if instinctively realizing that he was just inches away from a grisly demise. He waves at you dismissively and yells in a fake Brooklyn accent, "Hey, this here's an active crime scene. Be on your way." Relieved but trying not to show it, you put on your grumpy New Yorker face and start to walk away. So you make your way past the dark alleyway, someone grabs you by the arm and pulls you into the shadows. The smell of cigars and cheap cologne don't give him away. The gravelly voice sure does. Nice save. I mean, dumb to show your face around here in the first place. Still. Come on, I'm parked around the corner. Before you know it, you're sitting in the passenger seat of a busted old sedan parked half a block away, giving you a nice view of the police gathering. Hey, how about you do your shadowy, skulky thingy? Maybe you can find some way to let me in from the inside. Shadowy, skulky thingy? Jesus, kid. Childish phrasing aside, it's as good as an approach as any, I guess. Without another word, he gets out of the car and heads for a nearby back alley. You watch in silence as he disappears into the shadows. A minute passes, then another, and another. You begin to worry. What if there are more cops inside? What if your moldy partner has gotten himself in trouble? Suddenly a shadowy silhouette appears in front of the windows on the second floor. Looks like he made it after all. At least you hope it's him. The shadow waves at you and points to the corner of the building opposite the 2 cops. You get out of the car and quietly make your way toward the alley. Sure enough, you find that a fire escape ladder has been conveniently dropped for you. Good work, D, you mumble to yourself as you climb to the second floor. Finding the crime scene proves easy enough. You follow the yellow police tape, and before you know it, you're standing in the middle of what used to be someone's living room. The place has been completely trashed. Knocked over furniture, shattered glass, the works. Looking around, you notice a sign scribbled on a nearby wall. It reads, "His gift, our fate." You're no expert in typography, but the crooked letters look similar to the ones you saw back in Red Hook. Sure enough, there's very little in terms of blood, save for the occasional stain that's bound to end up on the carpet once you toss someone through a glass coffee table. D'Angelo leans against the doorway. He seems lost in his thoughts, sucking on his cigar compulsively and mumbling to himself. You lean over a bit, trying not to make it obvious that you're listening in. You manage to catch the last few lines of his monologue. The night's been kind to them so far, but the questions kept piling on, and now they found themselves amidst the wreckage of another life. It was up to them to sift through the debris and come up with a neat little pile of answers. Suddenly he tenses up, as if sensing your eyes upon him. Feel free to chip in, kid. Anything catch your eye? Someone sure did a number on this place. That they did. Any more to that thought? The victim is fully conscious. If the killer is Kindred, you're not too good with this whole vampire shtick. Bingo. No properly fledged vampire would allow themselves to be this sloppy. God damn it, I hate where this is going. Which is me being right about thin blood involvement. Anyway, looks like we're not getting any more out of this place. No way around it. We gotta see the body. Really? After all this, I'd say your thin blood theory looks pretty solid. Look, kid, Dustborn and shitty luck as it is. If I'm gonna accuse one of them of breaching the masquerade, the least I can do is some goddamn due diligence. Luckily for us, I might know someone who could get us an audience with our dearly departed. To your surprise, he pulls out a cell phone, a busted old clamshell. He flips it open and spends a good minute browsing through the contacts, muttering to himself. Finally, he makes a call. Hey, you know who this is? Yeah, that favor you owe me, time to deliver. Listen, I know you got a fresh one. The murder in Bed-Stuy. I need to take a look. Yes, now. Yeah, you better. With that, he hangs up and gives you his trademark wry smile. Wait, are cell phones an issue with the Camarilla? Only if you tell them. Look, kid, I don't use it willy-nilly, alright? Special occasions. You always have time to throw fucking rocks at windows. Can you live with that? Or should I worry about being sent to the principal's office? Relax, D, I'm not gonna rat on you. He shoots you a smile. For some reason, it seems less crooked than usual. Good to know, kid. Anyway, looks like my guy's gonna come through. Next stop, Kings County. Kings County, the bleeding heart of Brooklyn. It's beating as hard as ever with ambulance after ambulance bringing in sick and wounded New Yorkers to be pumped through the tight arteries of the healthcare system. It's a dangerous place for kids to show their face. It's incessantly crowded and full of people who specialize in noticing all sorts of physical afflictions, especially the sort that make up the very essence of a vampire's existence. For instance, death. Thankfully, your business here tonight keeps you away from the hectic human hive of the ER. Instead, you follow D'Angelo to a relatively quiet part of the underground parking lot that's closest to your current point of interest, the Kings County Morgue. Having found yourself a convenient and suitably unlit spot near the hospital wall, you wait patiently for D'Angelo's contact to appear. Every now and then you glance over at the undead gumshoe as to make sure his moldy mug isn't showing any signs of worry. It isn't. Or at least he's very good at hiding it. Finally, after 30 minutes or so, a lone figure emerges from a side entrance. As the human-shaped shadow walks by, you're quick to recognize him as the EMT you saw back at the murder site. Clearly nervous, the 20-something-year-old redhead can't seem to help but look back and make sure no one is following him. Finally, he stops and lights up a cigarette. Without even looking in your direction, he takes a puff and exclaims, seemingly to no one in particular, Room 112. We got 20 minutes. D'Angelo speaks without looking at you. That's our cue. You follow the fanged detective through the same door that EMT walked out of. Luckily, the wing of the hospital seems unusually empty. Still, the confidence with which D'Angelo makes his way through the white and green corridors makes it clear he's been here before. Finally, he stops in front of one of the doors. Room 112. That's your stop. The room is small, with only one oversized freezer by the wall, and a single slab mounted in its center. Sure enough, the body of a middle-aged man is splayed out on its steel surface. For a dead man, he seems unnaturally pale. Extreme blood loss will do that to you. Try as you might, but you can't help but look at the man's face. His features twist in abject horror. This was not a peaceful death. Looking closely, you notice two small puncture wounds on the victim's neck. If ever there was a clear sign of a vampire attack, you get to see it. Looking over at D'Angelo, you notice his lips moving in a familiar fashion. He's narrating again, where he can utter an intelligible word, cut him into a remark. Jesus, the look on his face. Nightmare fuel. No kidding. Which means he was fully aware all the way. He knew he was dying. Which, combined with the blood loss and the teeth marks on his neck, confirms our hypothesis. We have serial thin blood on our hands. Fuck. The door swings open. A tired-looking man with a stethoscope around his neck walks in. His eyes fixed on his clipboard, he doesn't appear to notice you. Yet. As you open your mouth, just trying to come up with an excuse as to why you're here, D'Angelo turns into a blur of shadow and flannel. So you know he's hovering over the doctor's limp body. Culpins in here confirms your suspicion. He takes the opportunity to feed. Once he's done, he turns his crooked mug towards you, his stumpy thing still dripping with blood. His smile is very red and very unnerving. What can I say, kid? Sometimes you just go with the gut. Come on, let's get out of here. Time to pay our dear prodigy another visit. Robert Larson's home looks about the same as last time. No added security, no dogs prowling the yard. It appears that the thin-blood prodigen would rather risk another visit from his old pal D'Angelo to arouse suspicion of his family and neighbors. Oh, I really gotta stop with this. Being unable to formulate a sentence. I'm a damn writer, and yeah, I can't read for shit sometimes. Which is good, considering that's what he's about to get. Sure enough, the light in Larson's study is on, and you even catch a glimpse of the man himself shuffling around the room. You go over to D'Angelo, wondering how you're going to get Larson's attention this time. Without a single word, D'Angelo walks over to a nearby street lamp and leans against it, making sure he's visible to any and all who happen to look. The time for subtlety is over. It takes a couple minutes for Larson to take notice. See him lean against the window and storm out of the room. In mere seconds, he's out in front and in D'Angelo's face. Listen to me, you moldy fuck. I've had just about enough of your shit. You want to pester me? Fine. I'll leave my family out of it. For a moment, D'Angelo just stands there, motionless, allowing Larson to get his frustrations out. Suddenly, he grabs the thin blood by the collar, lifts him off the ground, and smashes his back against the lamppost. Are you finished? All right. You listen to me, and you listen good. You think I'm enjoying this? You think I like to be jerked around? You think I got nothing better to do than hang around this little puppet theater you've made for yourself? Now, either you give me a lead I can follow, or I'll start remembering things you'd rather forget. The first time you met him, Larson looked speechless, his eyes wide with fear. He can only mutter under his breath. You wouldn't dare. Try me. Cue awkward silence. You stand there, shifting your eyes from one vampire to the other. Guess it's time to either press the advantage or play the good cop. Look, we're all a bit stressed out. How about we all take a deep breath, figuratively speaking? Nah, I don't feel like it. I tried being nice, but some people don't appreciate nice. Some people will do anything to cover their asses. Isn't that right, Robert? If you want my help, put me the fuck down. With his feet back in the ground, Larson strains his collar in a faint attempt to preserve some shred of dignity. There's a place in Manhattan, Lower East Side, one of the few places in the city where my people can find shelter. Yeah, I know it. If you go there right now, you might find what you're looking for. D'Angelo stares at him for a moment, just long enough to make it uncomfortable. Better. Finally, D'Angelo loses his grip. Both watch Larson limp back to his house, looking back over his shoulder like he's going to tell the teacher on you. Look to your partner, meaning to ask what that whole things you'd rather forget deal was. As a sense in your curiosity, D'Angelo cuts in with a preemptive mutter. Come on, we got what we came for. As you reach the address Larson gave you, you find yourself standing in front of what looks like an old garage. On the outside, the place looks as interesting as it gets. Think it abandoned if not for the few barely working lights illuminating its shabby facade. Once you're inside, however, if ever there was a place worthy of being called a wretched hive of scum and villainy, this is probably it. Star Wars reference. The room is littered with drunks and crackheads, human and blood alike, their minds lost in their cruel little worlds, their bodies splayed across the floor. D'Angelo leans over and whispers in your ear. I'll cover the back door. You stand at the front. Let's look around and see what we can find. Before you can ask what you're exactly supposed to be looking for, D'Angelo disappears into the shadows. Focusing your senses, you plunge into the full spectrum of the room, hoping to hear someone or something worthy of attention. You regret it almost instantly. The room becomes a deafening echo chamber, a sea of babbling lunatics, of muttered curses and drug-induced ramblings. You're almost ready to give up when a faint whisper catches your attention. A female voice, soft and trembling. The gift. He speaks to us. The blood speaks. Few words are enough to tell you you've just hit the jackpot. You follow the voice to its source, a young woman hunched in the corner of the room. As you walk towards her, D'Angelo emerges from the shadows right next to you. Nice catch. He kneels down beside her. You can tell he's trying to sound as comforting as possible, but with his gravelly timbre, it's not really working out. Hey, it's okay. We're not here to hurt you. We just want to talk. No, don't talk. Too loud. Too loud. She seems halfway out of it. It's like lights are on. Whoever inside is stumbling around after one hell of a bender. Alright. You like quiet? Got it. Can you tell me your name? Santa. That's what he called me. Suddenly you hear the door swing open behind you. Even though the night is fairly warm, a cold chill runs down your spine. You look towards the entrance. There is a woman standing there, and something about her just screams kindred. Even though she seems comically overdressed for the situation, somehow you don't feel like cracking a smile. Whoever she is, you can tell she means business. She starts making her way to the back of the room, not making any effort to sidestep any of the junkies and drunks. You all know well enough to get out of her way. I think out of bravery or sheer stupidity, you walk up to her. She looks at you as if you were something she just scraped off her shoe. You smile nervously, without even knowing it. As soon as you open your mouth, her hand shoots out, grabbing you by the throat. The woman looks at you, tilting her head as if examining a curious species of insect. Suddenly, her eyes shift and she noticed something behind you. Her face turns from disgusted curiosity to sheer annoyance. You. Hey, Val. That's my assistant there. Mind? She rolls her eyes, you feel the grip on your neck loosen, and you awkwardly fall to your feet. She makes her way towards D'Angelo, pushing you aside like a rag doll. Where is she? You're gonna have to be a bit more specific, darling. Don't play coy, Ginny. Don't play coy, Ginny. Manslayer. I know she's here. A blood hunt has begun. By the order of the prince herself, the girl is to me her final death. Hold your horses, honey. I'm conducting an investigation under the auspices of the sheriff. That counts for something, too. But, sweetie, I'm not here for some clip measuring contest. You want this to get ugly? Be my guest. Otherwise, I suggest you step aside and let me do my job. By all means. He steps aside in a comically exaggerated fashion. You look at the corner where you last saw Santa, but find no traces of the girl. Well, B, I could swear she was just here. Violet looks at D'Angelo. She smiles softly, but you can tell she's trying very hard not to rip his head off. Regret this. Story of my life. Without another word, she turns on her heel and storms out. D'Angelo waves his hand in your general direction. Come on, kid. Let's get out of this shithole. As you emerge from said shithole, you feel a cool night breeze caress your face. It's soothing and it makes you feel, and almost makes you forget how shitty the last few hours have been. Almost. Okay, kid. I know you've got questions, but it's getting early and I don't feel like having a Q&A session right now. For now, you get one question. Make it count. Valerie, huh? Who the hell is she? She's a scourge, kid. Part enforcer, part assassin. All around pain in the ass. If she finds that girl before we do, we'll never find out why she did what she did. Before you ask, yes, we've run each other in the past. No, I don't feel like talking about it. Alright, kid, I don't know about you, but I'm turning in. I'll bring some stuff on and keep looking for our girl. Feel free to swing by the office in a night or two. With that, he stumbles off into the distance, not even bothering to keep to the shadows. Can't see you blame him. It really has been a rough night. Alright, so I'm guessing it's about to time change. Scourge. Executor subordinated directly to the prince. Blood hunt is a punishment sentence of vampire to final death at the fangs of their peers. For the kindred, a system of punishing transgression, law of retaliation. Alright, realistically, read it yourself, because apparently I don't know how to talk right now. Yeah, see, it's getting early. I'm gonna go rest. Alright, and that's where I'm going to end it. With Kadir al-Asmai, the sheriff of New York City, knocking at the door to your haven. Thanks everybody for watching this video. I'm gonna try to finish this game off as soon as possible, but you know, it is a very good story, very hectic and chaotic story, but it's a good story nonetheless. Alright, so remember to subscribe, hit that like button, comment below, let me know what you think. The more interactions you give, the more that you're helping my channel. So even if you just say hi, say hi. Alright, thanks for watching. Have a great day.